Welcome to this brief tutorial on how to access data on Dickinson County lakes collected by the Cooperative Lakes Area Monitoring Project. So the first thing you need to do is just go to our website, which is www.clamp1909blogspot.com. Okay, here we are at the home page of our blog. And if you can't remember the title of it, you can Google CLAMP and 1909, and you can keep in mind that 1909 stands for the year in which Iowa Lakeside Laboratory was founded. So when you arrive at the home page, you'll see a little introduction about CLAMP, and the home page doesn't fit on the entire screen. So before, the map is going to be the major feature we're going to look at, but I just wanted to show you it's important to know what else is available on this homepage. On the left-hand side, there are some videos that explain the water quality parameters that we collect data on. There's some, including a link to our YouTube CLAMP video playlist, and then other videos you might be interested on the Lakeside Lab YouTube channel. Then in the middle are different blog posts from throughout the years. On the right-hand side, you'll see the key. We'll talk more about that, the map key. And below that are some interesting links to data on water level and temperature of some of our Iowa Great Lakes. Okay, so let's go back to the map because that's the main feature. And if you put your cursor in the middle of the map, you can see you can change the scale up and down. So this is all the different lakes that we sample. Big Spirit, which is the biggest lake in Iowa. West Okoboji, the deepest lake in Iowa. East Okoboji, the longest lake in Iowa, including what we call the lower chain of lakes, Upper Gar, Minnewaska, and Lower Gar. And then we also sample these landlocked lakes like Center Lake and Little Spirit, which is interesting because part of it is in Iowa and part of it's in Minnesota, and then Silver Lake. So each of these balloons marks a different location where we sample the water. And our intent is to get an idea of what the overall water quality condition is of the entire lake. So these sample locations are in the deepest part of each lake, and depending on the size and the shape of the lake, there may be several, as you can tell. If you take a water sample along the shoreline or at the end of a dock, that sample may not be representative of the lake as a whole because wave action could cause the water quality to be more cloudy or turbid at that spot, and therefore it wouldn't be indicative of the overall water quality of the lake. So that's what we're trying to get at. So anyway, just to look for the data, all you have to do is click on one of these balloons, and I'm going to talk a little bit later about why these balloons are different colors. So you just click on any balloon and voila, a window will open up on the left with the name of the lake and the name of the sample location, and then a link to access the data. Alternatively, you can go up in the upper right-hand corner here and click there, and then you'll get a list of all of the lakes all at once and all of their sample locations. So let's go to one of my favorite sites, which is the deepest spot and the deepest lake in Iowa, Site 49 on West Okoboji. And you can see over here, the name of the lake and the site pops open. Then you just click on this link and it'll take you to the data, the raw data here. And after a short delay, you'll see a graph pop up with all of the data on it. That's pretty cool. And then notice along the bottom here, the site opens up on the water clarity data, which is measured with a Secchi disk. But the other parameters are along the bottom here. We have algae abundance, total phosphorus, total nitrogen, temperature, and dissolved oxygen. So let's go back to water clarity. You'll note on some of these parameters, we have included the recommended water quality standard by the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, which for water clarity, they recommend that the water should be at least the clarity should be at least 1 meter. And that's a -1 because it's kind of under the surface of the water. So here I'm going to give you a pop quiz. Looking at the data here in the graph, the red line is the recommended standard and the blue is the actual measurements. So here's the pop quiz. Does Site 49 on West Okoboji Lake exceed or meet or exceed the recommended DNR water quality standard? Okay, one more thing before we conclude this video. First, I wanted to talk about sometimes our data isn't up to date. So I know for a fact that the last sample location in 2020, the last sample date was in September, and that's not listed here. So if you find a year missing you're looking for the data and you see that there's a year missing or some dates are missing, just contact us and we'll provide that to you because we just haven't had the opportunity to get it on the website yet. Okay, before concluding this tutorial on how to access the data here, I want to explain a little bit about these balloons and what they mean and why they are different colors. You can see there's a lot of variation here. So there is a key, and on the lower right-hand side here, so you'll see here that each color represents what's called a different trophic state index. So the word trophic comes from the Greek word trophikos, which means to nourish or grow. Hence, the trophic state index, sometimes called a TSI, is a classification system designed to rate water bodies like lakes and wetlands on the amount of biological productivity or growth that they can sustain. So these are not real-time measurements. The colors may change throughout the sampling season. They represent the most recent time the data was gathered. So the trophic state index is really a topic we could dive in a lot deeper. So we'll just conclude the video right here. And if you want to learn more about the trophic state index, you can wait for another video on talking about that or do some research on your own. Thanks for watching this video and hope you enjoy using the CLAMP blog website.